John Bead, distributor of over 50,000 beads, crystals, and components, and direct importer of the complete line of Preciosa Crystal, Miyuki Delica and seed beads, and Preciosa Ornella check glass beads and Charlottes. JohnBead.com.
I'm here with Leslie Rogalski, and we've been talking about color today. And Leslie, you're going to show us how to use Charlottes to make these beautiful rings.
That's right. Charlottes bring not only color, but sparkle. Charlottes are round beads with a side cut off to catch the light.
Oh, so they're faceted.
So they have one facet.
Okay.
You can see in the rings here that they have a little extra sparkle. This is the ring I'm going to show you today. And they usually come in strands or shanks like this. And you can just see that even though they're round, you can pick up the glints of light, which is really a nice addition. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how I start by wrapping the tail of a thread around my finger. And for this is a combination of odd count peyote, square, my own variation.
I was going to say, I think this is the Leslie stitch here.
This is the Leslie stitch. I get a lot of comments about my rings, and actually, if you look at the ring, the blue and gold ring, that's all Charlotte's.
Oh, okay.
So it has a very lovely,
delicate.
very delicate, and a lot of bling without being too sparkly.
And this ring that you're showing us is a combination of two different beads.
This is a combination of a size 11 traditional check and a size 13 Charlotte.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of a trick to being able to get your needle through those beads.
Okay.
So here I start with 2 purple 11s, 1 blue Charlotte, and 2 purple 11s. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pick up my 2 purples and go back through the Charlotte and the 2. If your needle gets stuck a little bit when it starts to go through the beads, you can use pliers to gently grab the needle to pull it through to save the wear and tear on your hands. So here we go. I've come out this top 2 purple.
And what size needle and thread are you using?
And I'm using the finest but strongest thread that I can. Now rings don't need too much wear and tear, so a 4 or 6, definitely a thin needle to go through the Charlottes.
Okay, so a number 10.
A number 10 would be great. I happen to like the longer, but you can use shorts.
Okay.
Now I have my 2 beads, and instead of doing the little figure 8, I'm going to come back through the top 2 purple beads, right there. Be careful not to pull your needle through the loop of thread, and you can see the 2 new purple beads being added, and that's what it should look like. And you can pull with your fingers to pull down to the beadwork.
Okay.
So you can see, just like in peyote, you can see there's that little gap there.
It is like 2 drop, but with a space
exactly.
in there.
So you're going to go back down towards your work with your needle, and now it's clearly obvious that that's where the blue goes.
Right.
And you pick up the blue.
I love the way the Charlotte adds some texture in there too, because it's a little bit smaller.
It adds like a little groove, a little channel. It's really nice, and it does. It adds that little texture to it. And there you go.
All right.
And now, just like in regular odd count peyote, you're going to pick up 2 and just continue. You don't have to do a separate little stitch.
So then eventually you're going to have the band.
So you're going to have here's a little piece that's done a little more. Here's a piece I can show you where you have, we're coming back up, and here again you can see there's that little gap where you're going to pick up the blue Charlotte. It's already on there, and my hands are sticking to the beads. That happens. Just let them fall. Come back up through the purple and pull that blue one in place.
And what about your tension as you work? Is it hard to maintain an even tension?
You have to pay attention to the tension. And that should be a general rule of thumb, that you can always push with your fingers to adjust the tension. And I want you to notice here that my tail thread is up on the upper left. It's a good idea to always keep your tail in the same place. And remember, twisty turn at the tail. Tail, twisty, tail, twisty. So if you flip your work around, you'll always remember, wait, is this where I make my even count or my odd count turn? If the tail is at the side where you're making your turn, that's where you do your twisty turn.
Okay.
When you get to the end of the ring, you want to make sure that you have the in and out pattern to be able to zip this together just like you would in regular peyote. And the thing to remember here is that you're working in pairs of purple and single blues. So to connect the ring, first of all, to fit it, you're going to want to wrap it around your finger and see, well, how many rings, how many rows do I have left? You might have to take a row off.
Okay.
You always, always want to take your needle off your thread if you have to pull the beads apart, because
your needle will get caught in there. Invariably, something bad is going to happen.
and a knot, and then you're in trouble.
Right.
That's right.
Okay.
So you want to bring your ends together, pull the tail out of the way, and I hold it in my hand. And you're going to go pick up the right needle. You're going to go up through the purple. And then remember that you want to go through just the blue.
Okay. And that's going to be tight to get that
And
through
that's going to be a little tight. And that's where you may want to bring in a pliers, grab your needle. Now, if it's really too hard, be very careful because you'll crack your bead.
Okay.
You can gently twist it, and again, this is really just to save the wear and tear on your hand. And you're going to pull that through. You're going to go through the purple. 1, 2, 3, like this. And then you're going to come around and stitch back into the ring to finish it up and weave it through. And that's it.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the finished rings. These are so pretty. Simple to make, it seems.
Why don't you put some on and show? Okay, just stick them on the end of your fingers.
Well, thank
John
you,
Bead,
Leslie.
distributor of over 50,000 beads, crystals, and components, and direct importer of the complete line of Preciosa crystal, Miyuki Delica and seed beads, and Preciosa Ornella check glass beads and Charlottes. JohnBead.com.